Last year, the Arvada Center for the Arts and Humanities introduced a new repertory theater company along with their main stage shows. So now, here to talk about the upcoming season, please welcome the repertory company and some staff from the Arvada Center.
It may show, I don't know, I don't know.
All right, so I introduced you guys as staff and cast, but you have actual names.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm Sarah, and I'm in the marketing department at the Arvada Center.
Perfect.
And I'm Zachary Andrews, and I am in the Black Box Repertory Company.
Black Box Repertory Company. So let's start there. What's it like being in the repertory company this season?
I don't know. This is my first time working at the Arvada Center.
Okay, very cool.
This is a kind of a bucket list. This is a theater I've auditioned for, but I've always auditioned for the musicals, which is not my thing so much. So I've always been the guy at the end of a dance callback that's like faced the wrong way and
Right.
then just sort of walks on.
You know, just shuffle
I'll
off.
get him next time.
Yep.
But this Black Box Repertory is doing just a great variety of classics and contemporary American plays that also kind of use the same actors through an entire season.
Yeah.
So people get to see us sort of take on whole new worlds.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
we just finished Chorus Line.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the repertory company, what shows we have coming up, and then we'll circle back around to musicals.
Yeah, so the first musical play for the repertory company is The Foreigner, which you're in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell us
Yeah, it's
your role? Yeah.
it's written by a guy named Larry Shue. When it came out, it was considered to be the kind of best American play that came out that year. It's
Yeah.
a really funny comedy. It has kind of just everything you want in an onstage adventure where good guys triumph over bad guys.
Exactly. That's all you could ever want from a play.
Miscommunication, and someone speaks in gobbledygook
Yeah,
for a majority of the play, which is funny. It's really humorous.
that's perfect. And then after that we have,
Well, after that, chronologically, we open our holiday musical, which is Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat,
Yes.
which is really exciting. It was one of our most beloved and best-selling holiday musicals for many years in a row, and then we haven't done it in a while, and it's back.
Yep.
So it's going to be a big deal, and we're really excited. You know, it's a classic, and people just love
exactly.
Joseph, and
Yeah.
it's going to be fantastic.
There's so many fantastic songs in there. Like you said, it's a classic
Yeah.
show. What was the idea of bringing it back after a couple of years off?
I think that, that it had just been a while, and it seemed like the right time, and people, we were talking about what are we going to do for the holidays, and Joseph kept coming up, and that was the decision, and we just love it.
Here it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite Joseph memory or moment? Because I'm assuming you guys have seen it a couple times before.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Okay.
I was a little kid the last time I saw it, so I'm hoping that in the future this will be the best. I mean, being involved to make this musical happen, that's very beloved, and is a real, just a classic, a standby. It's really exciting.
Have
for
you
me.
seen Joseph, Zach?
I've never seen it.
What? You've never seen Joseph?
Never seen it.
I mean, musicals have never been a strong match, but being a member of this theater company
Okay.
will certainly
Yeah.
get me.
Have you auditioned for Joseph before?
I haven't.
Okay. Well, so I'm okay with that then. You haven't auditioned, you haven't seen it, so that's good.
Yeah, I'll be approaching
But
it
But
like
this
a baby.
Christmas, you can see it.
I'll be
Everyone
there.
can see it this
Yeah.
Christmas. So let's talk more about your role at the Arvada Center. What exactly do you do?
I'm in the marketing department, so I write a lot of emails, I write a lot of press releases, I do this kind of thing. It's a little bit of everything. It's really great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how do you work with the shows individually?
All sorts. I mean, we do a lot of coordination of getting last week we finished up, or not last week, I'm sorry.
A little while ago.
A little while ago, we finished up this really cool photo shoot for a
Yeah.
Black Box rep, so we were really involved in that. And he got his headshot taken, so I was holding the light for a photographer, and so some of it's that kind of thing, and some of it is coordinating B-roll, some of it is
Exactly.
just being a resource for the actors and doing our social media and showing off the cool stuff that's happening throughout the season.
So you do a million things.
Millions
It's just
and
like a
millions
long
of it.
list.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then after Joseph, I have a little cheat sheet over here if
Yes.
we need it.
Yeah,
Because
for-
there's so many fantastic shows. So let's.
7
So we
and
finished the
12
Chorus Line,
Yep.
Foreigner, the mystery one, but it's Joseph.
Yes, it's
And then Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'll just throw that to you.
I mean, what do you say about it? It's such an amazing novel. It's something that's just sort of become iconic around the world, and this is a really fun adaptation of it. It kind of is. It moves along at a breathless pace, which is not something you normally would say about a Jane
This
Austen.
is not your grandma's Jane Austen.
But as much as anything else, I think it's still really relevant. I was reading it just the other day, and this notion of gossip as this palpable force that really does shape our behavior is something that we're seeing a whole new, it's like gossip 2.0 now, and we're still trying to learn how to be people in that world, just like they were. These are women who are really kind of at the mercy of opinion and money.
Yeah.
And it's just it's something you just feel acutely
Yeah.
Every day. So
I agree.
I'm excited about it.
So then after that we'll speed around The Electric Baby and All My Sons.
which close out the repertory season.
Yep. So
Yeah.
talk about what is it like doing a repertory season, being in all the show, rotating roles and that sort of thing.
I mean, it's kind of the dream for an actor.
Yeah.
You get to. And part of the joy for me is world building, is the notion of creating this whole vocabulary and this snow globe. I mean, that to me is the difference between movies and theater. Is instead of shaking a snow globe and looking at it, when you're in a theater, you're inside it. We've built a world and we're all in it together.
Yeah.
And these plays all move so differently.
Yeah.
And they all kind of speak to different parts of ourselves, different universal truths
Yeah.
kind of sit there at the center of each one. So we get to just drill down on those ideas as this kind of collective group of artists.
Exactly.
And you don't find that. That is a rarity. An ensemble-based season
Yeah.
is something that just doesn't happen anymore. So
Yeah. And so for our viewers that don't know what a repertory is, we talked about, you guys rotate all the roles and all these shows happen in the same theater.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
all around the same time.
Yeah.
So one night the set looks totally different than the next night breaks down, So talk about doing a show in the same exact space over and over, but just different shows. What's that like being in the same space?
well, that's the thing of it. It's just a room.
Yeah.
And yet every night we're going to turn it into a whole different place, a whole different world, a whole different time,
Yeah.
And the audience who buys the season subscription gets to come back, sit maybe in their same seat,
Yeah.
and see just how far this group of people can kind of stretch themselves and stretch their space and stretch their resources. And
I would highly encourage everyone buying
Yeah.
season tickets because it's so cool to just, like you said, go in one night for one show, see it, go back a couple weeks later, totally different, same exact seat you're in. I think that's such a cool way.
And something that makes theater at the Arvada Center really special is all of our costume design and our set design and the paintings and the construction of the sets all takes place in-house.
Yes.
And last year's repertory, they put a tremendous amount of work into making these 3 sets that they would change, sometimes day to day, would pull pieces out and pull pieces in, and they were pumping a bunch of water in for the Drowning Girls, which was one of the plays we did last year. So I'm really excited to see what they come up with and the ways that they transform just a thrush stage space into 3 very different universes.
Yeah.
And I think, as an audience member, if you are familiar at all with what the Arvada Center space looks like, watching it change from play to play is so cool.
It's so fun. So do you guys have a favorite show that you're looking forward to coming up?
I'm excited for what we're kicking off with. I got to do The Foreigner. I actually got to play the same role 10 years ago when I was far too young. And I just remember loving the play, and I remember how much the audience loved the play.
Yeah.
really
So
funny.
getting to come back kind of age appropriate, and that was one of my first professional shows, so there's a wonderful kind of symmetry
Yeah.
to coming back to Denver and getting to play this role in this show. I'm very excited.
Very cool.
I'm really looking forward to Sense and Sensibility
Yeah.
because, I don't know, exactly what it's going to look and feel like yet, but it's a really interesting movement-based adaptation of the play where people jump in our pieces of the set and things move around and people play multiple different roles, and it's really cool and very interactive and very different, and not any way that I think it's been described as if you love Jane Austen, you'll love it because it's Jane Austen. If you don't like Jane Austen, you're probably going to love it, and maybe this will be the Jane Austen for you.
So you're just gonna love it
because
no
it's
matter what.
really I like Jane Austen, so I'm excited to see a very different interpretation of a story that I really love already. So I think it's going to be really neat.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we almost forgot the last musical.
Yeah.
We can't forget about that one because we're running out of
No, we
time. But
don't.
Sunday in the Park with George. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's Sunday in the Park with George. It's a fairly newer musical, one that people may not be familiar with, and so it's kind of exciting that we have 2 musicals that are a Chorus Line, which we just closed, and then Joseph, which are kind of classic standbys that people really love, and then one that's a little bit newer, and it's based off of a George Seurat painting that you are probably familiar with if you know anything about Impressionism, with a woman with a parasol on the banks of the Seine, and so it has 2 acts and different characters, and it's kind of about art and people's relations to each other and relationships to making art and things like that. It's a really neat musical, and we're excited to do it.
And Annalie Ashford just did it on
Yes,
Broadway.
she did with Jake Gyllenhaal.
With
right?
Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah. So, you know, a local Denver star.
Yeah, so
And
that's
now,
really-
not
yeah.
the same exact production, obviously, but the show is coming to the Everett
Yes.
Center. Exactly.
So we hope people are excited.
Yeah, I'm
to see
excited for it.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be excited for it?
Yeah, it's going to be great.
And I've seen that one.
You
And
saw
I'm
that.
excited to see it again.
Ooh.
Oh, well, how was that one?
I mean, it's an incredible show.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's one of those iconic American musicals, and I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you both so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
We'll be right back.
for having
Stick around.